I'm back for the Big 12 bowls that they're doing, or that they made it into. I don't know how to qualify that. Qualify that they qualified for. Wow, I didn't even know I walked into that, but whatever. It happened. Texas Tech plays USF in the Birmingham Bowl. That's tomorrow. That happens tomorrow at 11 a.m. on ESPN. Texas Tech, they've not had the best year, honestly. Their coach could have been fired if they didn't win that last game against Texas, but they won, so, they won. Charlie Strong playing Texas Tech again. Man, Charlie Strong, what a guy. Texas Tech, obviously, they got Shimanek back as their quarterback probably after he led the game-winning touchdown drive against Texas, and then he just played better than the, what's his name, Carter guy. They really haven't had as good as an offense as they did last year with Mahomes, but their offense has been pretty okay, I guess. The defense has definitely improved from last year. Last year they were probably averaging 45 points given up a game. That's probably exactly right. They gave up a lot of points last year. This year they're only allowing 31 a game, so they're definitely improved from last year. South Florida, they are under new coach Charlie Strong. They've had a good year. They're 9-2. They lost to UCF. UCF is in the New Year's Six Bowl against Auburn. They barely lost to them. They gave up a kick return touchdown with like a minute left, which gave UCF the 7-point win. But it honestly could be a blowout towards UCF, and it could be a close game. I think it's going to be more of a close game just because Texas Tech's offense, I think they're going to show up in this game. Quentin Flowers leading that USF offense, I think that's just going to be too much. So USF with that win right there. Yeah. If you want a random score, because I just throw out random scores all the time, 34-27. That's random enough. West Virginia plays Utah in the Heart of Dallas Bowl. So that's in the real Cotton Bowl, but the bowl Cotton Bowl is in the new Cowboy Stadium. It's kind of confusing. Not really, actually. It's not really that confusing. Just, you got it. West Virginia, obviously, without quarterback Will Grier, who had to get surgery on that pinky. Yeah, that was a messed up pinky. Backup quarterback isn't horrible. I don't know his name, but obviously the offense will not be the same without Will Grier. They've had an up and down season. They had a close game against TCU that they could have won. They've had the lows, like getting blown out by Oklahoma, losing to Texas. They barely edged out Iowa State, almost blew a pretty big lead against them. They beat Texas Tech when Texas Tech was in the top 25 for that 1 week. But Utah, they've had a rough year as well. I think, it's really hard to say without Will Grier, but I think West Virginia powers through, wins that game 31-28. I don't know. But it'll be interesting. Kansas State plays UCLA. Kansas State has their third string quarterback now. Third string. Skylar Thompson. He's been doing pretty good. He beat Iowa State, which I had Iowa State winning that game, and then Kansas State won on the last second touchdown. So I lost that one because of that. Yeah. UCLA, they have Josh Rosen, who is super overrated, in my opinion. He really is. He's a good quarterback. He's just overrated. I don't think he should be like number one pick in the draft. I think he's like a good enough quarterback to be in the NFL, but I don't think he's like the next big superstar thing. But people have their opinions and stuff. That's just my opinion. Offense for UCLA is obviously pretty good, but their defense is not the greatest. Their offense is averaging 34 a game, and they're giving up 37 a game. That's pretty poor. That's probably why they're 6-6. K-State, they're okay. Their offense is improved now. Their defense is struggling at times. This will be a really close game, but I think it's going to come down to defense at the end. I think K-State's going to have the better defense and win 20-17. So, yeah. Texas plays Missouri in the Texas Bowl, a rematch of former Big 12 rivals. I don't know if I'd say rivals, but opponents. That's a better word. This should be an interesting this should be an interesting game. Obviously, Deshaun Elliott declared for the draft. I'm forgetting his name. This is so awkward. Anyways, Texas, Holton Hill, that was it. Holton Hill, Deshaun Elliott, they've declared for the draft. So Texas will have two of their big defensive players out for their bowl game, which will hurt them, obviously. Malik Jefferson should be playing in the bowl game, but he is day-to-day with the toe sprain. It'll be an interesting game just because Texas' defense is so good, and then Missouri's offense is so good. Because Missouri, they're on a 6-game win streak, and I mean, it's not like impressive. In my opinion, it's just not really impressive wins. I mean, listen to this. Where did it start? Idaho, Yukon, Florida, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Arkansas. So not like big wins, but obviously wins are wins. Missouri, as I said, their offense has been pretty explosive this year. They're averaging 500 yards a game, just over. Averaging almost 40 points a game. So obviously that's going to be a definite test for Texas and their defense. Missouri, I don't know much about their defense, but it says here that they're averaging almost 32 points a game, and I think that could be the difference of the game. Just because of that, the defense for Missouri giving up that many points could end up being their downfall. Texas offense obviously has its struggles, but I think in the end, Texas, just the better overall team, is going to beat Missouri 28-24, just because they got the better defense. So that'll end up being the difference in the game. Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech. Honestly, I think Oklahoma State is just going to not blow out, but beat Virginia Tech by a decent margin. Just because Virginia Tech, obviously, in the ACC, which in my opinion is the best conference in football this year, they've had an up and down year. They got blown out by Clemson, pretty much. They almost lost to regular Virginia. They barely beat them. And then they lost to Georgia Tech. Got destroyed by Miami. I mean, they didn't get blown out by Clemson, but they lost by 14. I thought it was more. Anyways, I think Oklahoma State's the better team in this. They got better everything. So I got Oklahoma State winning this one 45-30. Stanford, TCU, better defense. Their defense is pretty freaking good, other than when they play Oklahoma. But when they play everyone else, they do great. Their defense is great. So TCU, their offense is pretty decent. Stanford, they got Heisman finalist Bryce Love, but their offense can't really do super great. And then Bryce Love is always injured and stuff. He's got a bad ankle. So I think TCU is the better team in this one, though, 131-20. Iowa State plays Memphis in the Liberty Bowl. This is a tough one because Iowa State, obviously, they've played really good this year. I mean, they beat Oklahoma. They beat TCU, two teams that are top 10 worthy. One of them's in the playoff. So Iowa State obviously has the skill to beat anyone in the country. But Memphis is really good as well. Memphis beat UCLA. They contended with UCF in the the AAC championship. But this is tough. If Iowa State's defense plays offense plays at its best ability, I think Iowa State wins. But if Memphis' offense can outduel Iowa State's offense, I think Memphis wins. So this is a tough one. I'm going to go with Memphis. I think Memphis is going to win 38-31 in a close shootout. So, yeah. That's the Big 12 Bowls. As I said, playoff video coming later. NBA video coming in like 10 minutes because I'm going to make it right after that.